Today we are in Hong Kong. It's me, Jazzy, and Angel.
Hey.
And we're gonna run around and get some improvised shots on the street because it's a beautiful sunny day. So I've got my iPhone 16 Pro in my small rig case with the VND filter on it. And I'm using a new gimbal I just got. This is the Hohem iSteady M7. The Hohem iSteady M7 is a phone gimbal with some clever new tricks. It has a new generation of AI tracking that will track the front and the back of your subject using a dedicated AI camera, so you can use it with any app. It has a built-in detachable monitor and remote control, and it has a built-in extension stick that makes it easy to shoot above the crowd. This is a slightly larger phone gimbal made for setups up to 500 grams, which means you can use full-sized circular filters on your phone, such as a variable ND for sunny days. So let's get out there and see what this gimbal can do. And thank you to Hohem for sponsoring this video. Okay, now I want to try using the AI tracking. So if I double click on her face, you get a green box and that means it's tracking her. So she's not facing me, I'm not even really watching what I'm shooting, and it's still tracking her as a subject. Even if I move around to the side, something like this, she still stays pretty well framed because the AI face detection, it doesn't just detect the front of the face, it also detects, I guess, the shape of the head or something from behind. So we can get various angles. Sorry. And I can move around. I'm not intentionally framing anything right now. I'm just looking at you, talking to you. Meanwhile, the gimbal is doing all the tracking work for me. Angel, you're gonna try this next, okay? All right, let's give you that. Close your eyes, okay?
Okay.
And now I'm not even gonna look at it, and I'll just kind of like randomly walk past here. Cool. By default, the tracker is going to put her in the center of the frame like this, which doesn't look great. I want her head up a little bit higher. So I just press the trigger. That pauses the tracking. And now I just adjust the framing. That looks better to me. Now I hit the trigger again, and it will continue to track with the offset applied. So now we have the correct framing. Now I'm going to show you a second way to track, which is using gestures. So if I want it to track me, I just do an OK sign, and then instantly it's tracking, just like that. And if I want to reframe my shot, then I do this, and I move myself to where I want to be. I don't know, maybe I want to be on this side of the shot, and then I do this again. And now it's tracking, but I stay offset, like that. And if I'm done with my shot and I want it to stop tracking, I just hold up a palm like this, and now it's not tracking anymore, and the framing is fixed. So I can actually detach this screen and hold this in my hand while it tracks my face. What's great about this is because I have my phone turned around, I can't see the screen of the phone anymore, so I can't judge my framing by that. So I use this little screen instead. And this is actually using the AI camera, not this lens, so it doesn't matter which way the phone is facing. It's easy for me to get a high angle. If I want to check my frame on this shot, I just use this little screen. But otherwise, I can just move this around, track myself, high angle, low angle, anything I want. And I don't have to worry about angling the gimbal perfectly. So the tracking is really useful if you're trying to get an overhead shot. So we've got this extension pole built into the gimbal, like that. And then if I rise up, I can hold this overhead, and if I want to still see what I'm shooting, I just remove the little screen. Or I can try other movements, like starting all the way down at the ground here, and then I go back up. I love riding the tram. This is the best way to see a city, in my opinion. I'm gonna go into POV mode. So now I've got a Dutch angle. Cool people don't look at each other. All right. Right now we are in Manmo Temple. This is one of the most popular temples in Hong Kong, and it's nice to use a phone when I'm shooting here because then I'm less obtrusive, I don't bother other people as much. I don't need the ND filter though, so I'm gonna take that off and put that in my pocket. But you notice that when I remove it, it doesn't upset the balance of the gimbal. And that's one thing that's nice about having a stronger gimbal like the M7. The gimbal stays balanced and you can just keep shooting. I'm gonna set my white balance. We're going in between daylight and tungsten because we have mixed light, 3700K. When I'm shooting in an environment like this, I'm usually looking for some kind of a scene where I can move the camera through the subject instead of just looking at it from a distance. So in this case, we've got these little lanterns. 3, 2, 1, boom, moving back, pulling out, and then we see the environment. So these shots where I'm pulling the camera through stuff are much easier to do with a phone than with a bigger camera, because if I had a mirrorless camera on a gimbal, once I hold it out, like at arm's length, it gets really heavy real fast. But with the phone, I can do this all day, no problem. It's just easy. Now I'm pointing straight up, and I can actually just use my hand to adjust the gimbal. So you see I'm just like finding my angle by hand, and then it just stays there. Hong Kong is a very vertical city, so I like to shoot a bit vertically. So I'm going to use my 5x lens next. You can zoom way in on the tram driver because I'm using my 5x lens.
So at the beginning it's about her, about Angel, and then it focuses on the whole picture later on. See?
Okay, it's almost nighttime, but not quite. That's called blue hour, and this is actually my favorite time of day for getting night shots because there's still some ambience in the sky. And I'm just gonna change my white balance to 3600K. You see we've got this beautiful blue tone. Using a gimbal at nighttime is extra important for stabilized moving shots because if you don't have a gimbal, then you can't really use the built-in stabilization very well on the phone because the built-in stabilization needs a fast shutter speed. And to get a fast shutter speed, you have to shoot in bright light. So basically when it's dim like this, you have to use a slower shutter, which means that the only real way to stabilize your shot is mechanically with a gimbal like this. We've got a scene here that I want to film vertical because there's a really cool looking building up there. Normally with this gimbal, you have to take out the phone and then switch it into vertical and then put the phone back. But I'm going to show you a quick way to get a vertical shot without taking the phone out. All I have to do is go into flashlight mode like this, and then I push down on the motor, and then I let go, and it stays vertical like this. Thanks for watching. This has been my little tour around Hong Kong with my iPhone and the Hohem iSteady M7 gimbal. If you want to learn more about the gimbal, there will be a link in the description. You can also learn more about my iPhone case through another link in the description. Just check down there. Otherwise, just please click like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.